Welcome to Wildly Successful. I am your host, Petra Colson, a fellow business owner, a mom, and someone who has far too many ideas for my own good. On this podcast, we are diving deep into what it takes to build a business you truly love. One that brings not only financial success, but also the freedom to live a life that makes you genuinely happy. Join me as we explore topics such as business strategy, marketing, mindset, and everything between. You can expect actionable advice and real conversations with incredible business owners that will motivate you to take your business to the next level. So, if you're committed to building your wildly successful business, you're in the right place. Hello, and welcome back to Wildly Successful. Today we are diving into something that may not sound very exciting at first, but is probably one of the most powerful tools you have as a business owner, which is your systems. And I don't know why system makes me so excited. Maybe because I know how powerful they are, especially when you're a founder who want to be able to outsource some things down the track. Most people would hear the word systems and literally run the other way. They think it's something that you will worry about later, maybe when you have a team or when you have more time or when your business is bigger. But I'm here to tell you that systems are not a nice to have. They are the thing that creates freedom in your business. And when I talk about systems, I am not talking about fancy software or complex automations. I'm talking about repeatable processes behind the tasks that you do. So if you think about it, your business is simply made up of a bunch of tasks. You are replying to inquiries or sending proposals, maybe onboarding clients, posting on social media, sending emails, delivering your service, and every one of those things has a process. My question to you would be, do you have a process captured in a way that someone else could do it for you? Or are these processes all stored in your head? I find that most founders would put systems off because it feels way too overwhelming. Maybe they feel like they have to wait until their business is at a certain stage, or they use the excuses, I used to work in corporate and that's when you needed systems. I don't need this for my small business. Or they assume that systems means like heavy tech and that scares a lot of people. So they don't create it because they go, well, I'm not techie. Or maybe they just believe that it's a nice to have and not a must have. But the truth is, systems is how you grow. It's how you stop doing everything yourself. It's how you make your business less dependent on you. And I feel like after all my years of working with founders, I don't think I've met someone who didn't start their business for some kind of freedom, whether that is time freedom, financial freedom, creative freedom, location freedom, or just, the freedom of choosing how your days look. But without system, that freedom really stays out of reach. If I asked you, if you took 3 months off right now, what would happen? Would your business survive? Would your clients still be looked after? Could someone step in and run things while you're gone? That's the level of freedom that I've been able to build in my business, and that's where system comes in. I want to take you back to my time in hospitality. So for years, I was the GM of a very, very busy restaurant called Vapiano. And Vapiano is a franchise with very specific and clear systems in place. If you've worked in hospitality, you know that employee turnover can be wild. Like I'm talking 60 to 80% sometimes. People would come and go and the training and hiring would be constant. And that's exactly why systems were so essential. So every recipe had a clear step-by-step process. And if you follow those steps, you would get the perfect pasta every single time. I could hire a 20-year-old, hand them these instructions, and as long as they followed the instructions, just like that, they are now magically a chef. Now, not everything in your business can be done by someone with zero experience, but there is a point with a clear process and the right skills that someone else could come in and execute it. And if you are a creative or strategist, I already can hear voices in your head saying, but no one can be me and no one has my creative edge. And you're right. No one is you, but here is what I would like to sort of challenge you to consider. Even your creativity likely follows some sort of internal system. So you would have preferences or maybe a method or a structure or certain steps that you follow, even if it's not written down yet. So what actually happens when we start building systems within our businesses? You can now start outsourcing. You are protected when team members leave, because I know how many of you are stressing out about that precious team member that does everything and they have everything in their head. And what if they leave? Because now what will you do? With systems, you can start spotting inefficiencies and improve how you do things. And just like the Vapiano pasta, your output becomes more consistent, more high quality because you have a system. I break my business into 6 key areas. So I look at my team, admin, accounts, sales, marketing, and client delivery. And each of these departments or areas has its own set of systems. So, for example, this could be something like how we send invoices or how we reconcile our accounts, or maybe how we run sales calls, how we create content, how we send proposals, how we write a newsletter. It doesn't need to be complicated at all, but it needs to be documented. And I'm not suggesting that you start systemizing your whole business in a weekend, but here is what I would do and what I have done previously. I created a list under each of these departments of the processes that I wanted to capture. And then every time I would do that task, or a team member would do that task, they would complete it by capturing the process. And the way that we would do this was we would record it using Loom. And in the Loom, I would be mindful of talking through how I do things. So not just clicking on buttons, but actually saying it out loud to say, okay, so then you go up to the right-hand corner and you click the button that says next, for example. And that meant that I can then put the transcription of the video into AI to write out the process. The most important part here, which is so important if you want your processes to work, is to make sure that you include what the final output of that task should look like. You want to define what a job well done is, or this is what this task would look like when it meets expectations. The next step would be to put these processes somewhere where you could easily find them, not just store them away and never look at them again, but actually where you and your team could go back and look at them over and over again. I would suggest using something like a Google document or Notion, ClickUp, or any other project management tool to start creating these in what I like to call it a business playbook. So every system gets added in there under its area or department. And to make it even easier and to make sure that the processes cover everything that they do, I would create a process for how to create processes. Yeah, I know, I heard. This is how into it I am. That will just help you make sure that each process, each systems looks and feels the same and includes exactly what it needs. And to save you a little bit of time, I have decided to share my own process of how we create processes at Colab Teams in the show notes. So make sure that you go and download it from there if you want to start creating these systems for yourself. So if you want more freedom in your business, start by creating better systems. Not when you have time, not when you have a bigger business, now. Because systems are what will give you that next level freedom that you are looking for. It's what will give you back your time. It's what will allow you to attend your child's school assembly on a Friday at 9 a.m. It is what will allow you to go on holidays multiple times a year without feeling like your business is going to go to shit. It is what will allow you to hire and outsource support so that you can focus on the things that you love doing. It is what will make sure your business can continue to grow without burning out in the process. A big part of what we do at Collab Teams is helping founders create systems around their organic marketing and content. And once those systems are in place, our specialized teams then step in to take 80% of the content creation process off your plate so that you can focus on growing your business. If you want to learn more about how we do this, make sure you book in an intro call with us. You can find the link in the show notes. Thank you so much for listening into this week's episode. Until next week, let's go build that wildly successful business, whatever that looks like to you. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed this conversation. If you did, don't forget to subscribe and I'll see you next week. Bye for now.